Hello everyone and welcome to Siriana Tarot. This is a you versus them love reading for Leo. We'll explore your energy, the energy of the person on your mind, and the dynamic between you, not to fix or chase anyone, but to support your clarity, self-trust, and emotional steadiness. As always, take what resonates and leave the rest. All right, so we have your person showing up as the Hanged Man, Pisces energy. All right. Leo, your energy, the Knight of Wands, okay. And what's going on between the two of you, we have the Nine of Wands in reverse. Okay, so, you both might be feeling a little bit run down or exhausted by what's going on here. I kind of feel like there's probably a little dance going on. And we see the Seven of Swords, yeah. Because Leo, it feels like you might have someone here who's a little bit avoidant, but they're definitely all up in your energy, hanging out in your energy, around you in some capacity. But this is somebody who really, really holds back. And my Leos, there's one thing that you don't like to do is hold back. And I can see that as you showing up as the Knight of Wands. But what I do like about the Nine of Wands in reverse is even if it feels a little bit emotionally exhausting here, I feel like there's going to be a communication. And I feel like this is also both of you letting down your walls and your barriers, especially this person who seems to be a little bit avoidant here. All right, so I feel like this is someone who could be a Pisces or, have Pisces in their chart, but this is somebody who's spiritual. This is somebody who's creative. This is somebody who's selfless, loving. I feel like you've got somebody very sweet and nurturing here. All right, quite a romantic as well. Yeah, speaking of which, the Knight of Cups. This is somebody who's a romantic. This is somebody who's dreamy. But Pisces energy or this, Knight of Cups energy can be somebody who's not quite as direct as you. They definitely have romantic feelings for you. They definitely want to invest, but they're a bit of an avoidant here. And they're viewing you as the Death card in reverse, Scorpio energy. So it's like this person is not ready to let this connection go or not ready to let you go. I mean, it could be a past person, but I actually feel like more than anything for a lot of my Leos, it's somebody who's around you and they don't want to lose you. They don't want to lose this connection. And your Knight of Wands energy tells me you're passionate, you're in alignment, you're in your Leo energy, getting attention, enjoying attention, you know what you want, you're ready to move forward here. Okay, and we see the Eight of Swords, but you're feeling a little stuck. And I think you're feeling stuck because you're taking the temperature of this connection. You're seeing that this person is holding back. You're like, why? There's clearly focused intention between the two of you. There's clearly interest and attraction, but you're reading the room and this person is holding back and it's kind of like, why are you doing that? And you're viewing them as the Six of Wands. So you see that this person is somebody who's successful, somebody who may also get a lot of attention, somebody you want victory with, somebody you see as the best of the best. So I can see why you're in your head about them, because they're like avoidant, they're hesitant, at least when it comes to you. And I think it's probably, Leo, the energy I'm getting is that they like you a lot. And so it might be one of these people who, they get a lot of attention, they're confident, and then when it comes to what they really, really want, they kind of clam up a little bit. So we see that, I'm reading this could be a little bit exhausting, like you two may have been doing a little dance with each other for a while. But the Nine of Wands in reverse indicates that I feel like you both are going to be dropping your walls and your barriers here, letting each other in. Yeah, this person is viewing the relationship as the Page of Cups, something that's really in alignment with them, whether they have water in their chart. I mean, it certainly does seem like they've got Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer in their chart, or maybe a few water placements, but they're just embodying this very sweet, very emotional, very intimate energy. And they see the beginning of intimacy. And I feel like this might be somebody who might be hard to, I don't want to say they're hard to get to know, but you got to chip away at they need trust, okay, and it might feel like you've got to chip away at some of those walls and barriers for a bit, because you're viewing the relationship as the Queen of Pentacles. You see this as something that's worth waiting for. You see that this could be something long term. You see that there's abundance. But again, you also don't want to be doing all the emotional labor or over giving. So we see the Four of Swords showing up in reverse. You are restless and you do want to get to the heart of the matter. And I think you realize, in alignment with you and to be true to yourself, you need to know how they feel. And you want things to move forward, or you are going to move in a different direction. All right. So let's go ahead and see what we need to know about this very, very watery energy here. I feel like this is somebody who's romantic, dreamy, enlightened. All right. Yeah. This is, they definitely feel like you're soulmates, that you two complement each other in the most harmonious ways, that there's balance, there's coupling. This person does want to invest. Okay, they do want to invest long term here. And we see heart chakra energy in reverse. Yeah, I can see this though. I do feel like this person, trust needs to be established for them to move forward. And I'm not saying that they don't trust you, but I feel like this is somebody who's been really hurt in the past, or they've been really disappointed in love. So that's what's kind of holding them back. That's what tends to make them a little bit avoidant, because Leo, I feel like this is somebody who loves hard and they love deep. I think they're deeply romantic. I think they feel like they absolutely could fall in love with you, or maybe even already are in love with you. But this is telling me they're scared. Okay, they're scared and they're kind of in self-preservation mode. All right, we see the 6th chakra, Archangel Metatron. So this is somebody who is, trusts their intuition. They are very highly intuitive. I also think there's probably a telepathic connection here between the two of you. All right, let's see. What else do we need to know here about this person? I do kind of feel like they're already in love with you, Leo, and I think that just scares them. All right, so we see cassette. Yeah, so they are still reacting to past patterns, what they've been through, outdated thinking, conditioning, replaying events over and over in their head. Yep, so they're replaying past hurts and past fears here. And I think they've dropped into self-preservation mode. And this is somebody who's done a lot of work on themselves. All right. They've been doing a lot of shadow work. They've been doing a lot of healing. And I feel like, oftentimes, and I don't know if you can identify with this or not, but a lot of times, we can do a lot of self-care, a lot of healing, a lot of shadow work, and we feel really, really good until we get into that relationship, or until we're faced with another relationship and some of those past triggers and past fears pop up. And I think that's what's going on here with this person. Like, they've worked really hard to heal, to do things differently. And in a vacuum, it feels really good. But that now they're faced with you, with this passion, with this energy, with this soulmate connection, with this I'm falling in love, this could be something. And then there's this holy shit moment, I could get hurt again, or I'm going to fall back into these old patterns, whatever they might be, ignoring red flags or overgiving or whatever this person's old patterns might be. All right, so we see separation. So in your energy, so we see sadness. So you might feel a little bit like this connection isn't going to come together. Obviously, you could be in separation from this person, but you're unsure of the future of this connection. And I do feel that way with the 8 of Swords, even though you want this, but you're restless to know. It's like you want this person to open up. All right. And this person is missing you, or they're thinking about you. And yeah, I think you're starting to get to a point here, Leo, where you're wondering if you should explore other options, or you're getting to a point here where you need to make a decision. You don't want to be strung along either. Like, I feel like you don't want to be spinning your wheels. You don't want to be wasting your time. If this person doesn't feel the same way, or if they can't open up to you. All right. Let's see. What might be hidden here? What's hidden here for my Leos? Okay, sacred space, time out, clear your energy. Space brings clarity. Okay, that can be a message for you. That can be what's happening with this person. I just saw somebody like take a big deep breath. Like, let me just get some air, right? And dreams, important dream messages are being given. So pay attention to your dreams at this time. All right, and we see rejection at the bottom of the deck. It's not you, so don't reject yourself. Rejection is divine intervention. So, I mean, I hate to be so cliche and say it's not you, it's them, but really that is the case. This person is, I feel like they're worried about getting hurt, and some past fears and disappointments are really surfacing for them because their feelings for you are so strong. Because for a lot of you, I think this person's already in love with you, but they're still reacting to some past stuff there. All right, and you know, some of you are willing to hold space for this connection, the Queen of Pentacles, right? Because you see this could be long term. You're willing to, you know, take your time, but at the same time, you know, you need clarity. You need to know that this is actually going somewhere. So holding space for someone is different than putting your life on hold for someone, right? So let's see what they want to say to you. Men, I want to fix our connection, okay? Or they want to get back on track, or they want to come together. And daydreaming, I'm always longing for you. That is certainly the case. Like this person definitely spends time dreaming, daydreaming about you. They want this. It's just they're, you know, I feel like they're scared. Or they've got to dig deep and be vulnerable, let you know how they're feeling. So let's see, what are their next actions towards you? Okay, we see temperance energy. Okay, so seeing the big picture. Now this is being patient. This is, you know, asking for help from angels, guides. All right, and we see the Eight of Coins. Yeah, so I feel like this person, you know, temperance energy is bringing things into balance here. And the Eight of Coins is telling me that they're here to put in the work, wanting to move forward, letting you know, okay, like I'm here, we're moving towards something. Yeah, and we see the Eight of Wands, a lot of communication, okay, but we see the Page of Wands in reverse when I cut the deck. Communication coming in, but they're nervous. They need to build up strength and courage here. I don't know that communicating their feelings necessarily comes difficult for them, but I think when it's weighted or when it has a major impact, that's where they, you know, I feel like they just clam up a little bit here, Leo. So you're gonna have to let me know, like, is this someone you're willing to hold space for or not? Okay, let's see. I feel like a lot of you are. It's just kind of feels like these initial butterflies, or, you know, this getting to know each other, figuring out if you two are safe, emotionally safe for one another. All right, so we see stay with what's certain, anchor yourself in what you know to be true. All right, Leo, you don't need proof. Trust doesn't require constant confirmation. So I also feel here like you don't need proof. I don't think you need proof as to how this person really feels about you. Because I think I mean, in the cards, it's showing up very clear that this person has sweet feelings for you. They're in love with you, okay? But at the bottom of the deck here, we see this requires honesty, not strategy. Yeah, and I think that's from both of you, about how you're feeling, where you are, what you want. And I think there can be something really beautiful here, all right? But it really is up to you whether or not, you know, you want to hold space for this person or this connection. And again, I cannot stress enough, holding space for someone is not necessarily putting your life on hold, okay? So I'm going to leave it here, Leo, sending you love and light. Take care.